lot of tedious work they're doing. She's from one of the families right next road, you know. We will take you to her house also.
And in fact, you know, if you look at right from, 12th century to about 16th century, we had a number of foreign tourists who were coming, Europe and all, travelers who were coming to India. They have all written a lot about our weaving industry. India had one of the richest, weaving industry at that time. And every village had a different style. All of us wear our saris. When we look at the sari, I can know from which village it has come. Because every village has a particular pattern which is there. But unfortunately, when the British came into India, that is the time when most of these weaving industry gets a setback because you have machines which are replaced. So now, there is an attempt to try to modernize them, also bring in modern designs. And it is very sad that today, there are a lot of suicides also in the weaving family. They are not able to cope up. Because see, when they make it with hand, the labor cost is more, it is very expensive, material is expensive. And they cannot compete with a product which is made in a factory because it works out much cheaper. So they lose a lot of money, and that is one of the major crisis which many of these weaving families fall. But we have a very rich tradition, every village, every area, and the only saving grace is Indian women continue to wear the saris, and we buy these saris which we wear.
In fact, hand-woven things are really required to suit our climates. What we wear is required because you see the weather here. Now there's no electricity in small places, and we're all the time sweating due to this. Cotton is the best kind of material, Cotton cultivation also has come down. And then silk rearing also has come down. So what is now happening is the weaving industry is slowly getting suffered, and as she said, there were a lot of suicides from the weavers' sides. They're not paid on time. They can't do work because there's no electricity. Now we are trying to provide solar devices and lamps to them, all these people. So this all is, actually, they are practically left with only weaving and nothing else in their life. So I am actually a publisher who publishes books for rural people on their livelihoods. And I give them these self-learning materials to do these small little livelihoods at home. And the objective is they should have more than one income generation source. So it is so important that they have 2-3 things going on. A poultry here and a kitchen garden there, vegetable cultivation and a weaving inside. So their life is, the government has actually made a scheme that they will get 100-day wage here, assured wage every year, which means 1/3 of the year they get work and they get the wages. That also is a very good idea. But because of that, what has happened? All the weavers are also getting them working in the fields because they are getting the money there. And they are leaving the weaving behind. So these are all the different problems the people face.
And by and large, women work a lot on weaving. They are the ones who do. The men take it to the market in the end. And if you look at the designs, see, they are so intricate. They are woven, one thread at a time. So it's a very laborious process. And the saris are 5.5, 6. So silk, silk is little expensive. We wear it for festive occasions, for marriage. But it doesn't suit our climate. Cotton is something which really suits our climate. But for a wedding, you would never wear a cotton. It would always be silk.
And silk has got a better market even for outsiders. We buy cottons, but they wear silks, and then silks are easy to maintain. Now, if you see on my left, there are some weaving patterns